Hello and welcome to Rob's Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be getting all of the Platinum Relics in Crash Team Racing for the PS1. So we're going to be going through this in the order of tracks that they appear in Adventure Mode, rather than the order they appear on the time trial list. Just because I think that makes a little bit more sense. So the main reason you're going to be wanting to get the Platinum Relics in this game is to unlock the track Turbo Track in Adventure Mode, and to also get the true ending of the game, where you just get a little bonus cutscene and some extra stuff in the credits where you learn about what the characters did after the events of the game. So it's not like 100% necessary, but it's just something to aim for if you're a bit of a completionist, and if you're looking for a bit of an extra challenge actually, because I think this is one of the hardest things to do in the game, if not the hardest thing to do in the game outside of the Oxide time trials. I think in this particular video we're going to see the hardest track to actually get the Platinum Relic on, in my opinion, so you can look forward to that. This first track is fairly easy. I mean, it is the first track in the game, so I wouldn't expect it to be difficult. It's basically just going a little bit out of your way to get the time crates. But other than that, it's just a matter of just going fast, really. It's quite basic. But yeah, the main way to get the Platinum Relic is not only to go fast, but to also break every single one of the time crates. And that way you'll get 10 seconds knocked off of your time. So if you do that, you're fairly likely to get the Platinum Relic, at least on these early stages. Because having 10 seconds knocked off, like, that's a fairly substantial amount of time. But yeah, these videos are pre-recorded and I'm commentating over the footage of them, purely because if I was to be playing the game and recording my voice at the same time, it would have taken ages to actually get it right. I've also done a review of Crash Team Racing, which is available to watch on my channel right now. So primarily the footage you're watching now was for that, but I figured I've got hours worth of footage of the game, so I might as well make a few more videos out of it. This series on Relics is going to be split into two videos, so with this one we're going to be doing the first half of the tracks, and then in the second video, which will be uploaded at a later date, I'll be doing the second half of the tracks. Weirdly, you would think that the second half of the tracks would be harder, but I don't really think that that's the case. I mean, I think the second half of the game probably has more difficult tracks, but this one has the most difficult track, so it kind of balances itself out, I think. The second video is going to be much longer than this one, purely because the tracks in the later game are a bit longer, and plus there are two bonus tracks that I'm going to include in the second part as well. But yeah, as for this track, really this is probably one of the most simple ones, just with the track being fairly sort of simple anyway. Like, there's not that many twists and turns, there's no like forks in the road. There's not much verticality in this track either, so it's fairly easy to keep track of which crates you've got and which ones you've missed. One thing that you should do, which I didn't do in this track, is there was a 3-second time box at the end of the track, and obviously getting that on the third lap, it isn't going to be beneficial to you, because I'm going to get the 3-second time box and then cross the line before the 3 seconds are up. So I'm not making the most out of the time freeze. But yeah, it doesn't matter for the early ones. I do actually make that mistake quite a lot, to be honest. I'm also going to be doing a 2-part video series where I beat all of the entropy time trials. But I'll talk more about that in those actual videos. You see there, I didn't actually beat the platinum time, but because I got the minus 10 seconds, it sent me below the threshold to get the platinum. I was actually thinking when I was doing this that this was a lot easier than I remembered, but it turned out that it was just because the early tracks are easy, whereas the later ones are very, very tough, or at least some of them are. So again, another fairly simple one. I would say that this has probably been the hardest one so far, just because This one has a little bit more forks in the road, so you have to like remember which direction you've gone, so that you can go and do the other directions on the next laps. But yeah, really, I mean, I was just trying to take this slow and really pay attention to where all of the crates were positioned, so that if I missed them I could remember where I needed to go back to. You do have quite a lot of room for error. I don't know if I make a mistake in this track actually, I might have to like stop and reverse a little bit, but I still get the platinum. So there is room for error in some tracks, but not all of them. I would say so long as you go reasonably fast in these early tracks and get every time crate, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a platinum, even if you do mess up a couple of times. As long as you don't mess up for like a very long amount of time. As long as it's only like a couple of seconds, you should be fine. Yeah, I played the game as Crash Bandicoot purely because I thought that that would make better footage for the review, like playing as the main character. I always found it a bit weird how you couldn't play as the unlockable characters in the adventure mode. Like Ripperoo and Papu Papu and that sort of character. I think that would have been cool. It probably wouldn't have made sense though, because you would have been having to beat the Ripperoo boss, but you would be playing as Ripperoo. But would anybody have really cared about that? I don't know. This isn't really a track that ever sort of stays in my mind after playing the game, but it is actually a pretty good one, with the gimmicks of having the turtles that you bounce on, the fire coming up just after the speed ramps. I actually think it's pretty cool looking back on it. Yeah, there's the mistake, where that was actually quite a bad mistake as well. I actually had to like fully turn around and go the wrong way for a couple of seconds. But I still did it. And really, that's all that matters, isn't it? So yeah, I always quite liked this track, because its theme is kind of like unlike anything that's actually been seen in Crash Bandicoot, so it's a bit weird how it's included in team racing. Like I can't really remember a level that takes place in a cave like this in the Crash trilogy, but maybe there is one, I'm not sure. This is probably my favourite track in the entire game, Sewer Speedway. This one actually took me... This is the first one where I had to restart the track to get the relic, I think. This was quite tricky. Obviously, I've not included all the bits where I fail at the relic, just because then we'd be here for ages. In fact, on one of the tracks, it took me way over an hour just on the one track to get the Platinum Relic. It was ridiculous. There, I tried to take the shortcut and failed. It doesn't matter though, I can do it on a later lap. With hindsight, I probably shouldn't have played the adventure mode as Crash, because it probably would have been slightly easier maybe as Dingo Dial, because he's got a higher top speed. But then again, he's not got as good handling, so that might have made some of the tracks that I found easy more difficult. Yeah, again, this could be another example of where I get a 3-second time box on the final lap and don't get the full freeze out of it, which is a bit annoying. Let's see if I can take the shortcut this time. God. I'm surprised I made that, to be honest. It didn't look like I was going fast enough. Got kinda lucky there. I feel like this is one of the toughest shortcuts to take in the entire game, and in fact, I don't even know if it is actually a shortcut in terms of the time save. I think in order to actually save time with that shortcut, I think you need to jump off of the ledge halfway through it, which is what I normally do, but obviously you have to kind of go out of your way a little bit, go out of your comfort zone to get the time boxes in the time trial mode. Not the time trial mode, the relic mode. Bit confusing terminology, because in Crash Bandicoot 3 the Platinum Relic mode was called Time Trial, but in this one the Relic mode and the Time Trial mode are completely separate, so just a bit confusing. Yeah, here I was having to zigzag because I kind of didn't get the time boxes in the order that you were supposed to. I've actually done a full, like, all Platinum Relics like video of Crash 3 as well, if you wanted to watch that. I think they were the first gameplay videos I actually ever did, not that I've done that many. In fact, the only... oh, look at that, another, like, big mistake, like I did in Mystery Caves, but I still get the Platinum. Yeah, this isn't like, the smoothest, like, run of the tracks to be watching, but I still get the Platinum Relic, so I kept the footage there. If I hadn't have made those few little mistakes, I probably would have beat that without the 10-second time bonus, to be honest. So now we've got Cocoa Park, which is probably one of the worst tracks in the game, I think. It was the first one that I, like, fully struggled with to get the Platinum Relic as well. And that's just because there's some really, really awkwardly positioned time boxes in places that I don't normally go. Because I just find there's like a little bit of a shortcut, which you'll see later on in this level, that I never take, just because it seems to just not work most of the time, so I just never risk it. And I don't know if it even saves that much time, but I think you'll see a bit now, where you go onto this grass and you have to go up this hill. But, like, that doesn't feel faster than just going on the road, so I don't normally do it. Maybe with a faster character that works better, I'm not sure, but that's like the only shortcut in the game that I never ever take. Yeah, I think my problem with this track is that it just feels... it feels like the actual design of the track is similar to Crash Cove, which was the first level, but this one has less going on. Like, there's that bit in Crash Cove where you can jump up and like get onto a like platform up above, so there's like more sort of verticality and it's kind of more interesting and it feels like there's more to do. Whereas this one, it's pretty much just straight and flat, like, all the way around. There's not even like any proper ramps. I almost feel like, should this have been the first level of the game and Crash Cove had taken this one's place in the second, like, hub area. I think this looks like where the first cutscene takes place as well, where you see everybody racing and then Oxide is watching from his spaceship. If it's not this track, then it looks very similar to it. Yeah, I actually only just got the Platinum there. That looked like quite a smooth run as well, and yet I only just did it by, well, less than a second, by about 20 milliseconds. That's crazy. No wonder I struggled with that, to be honest. This is a good track. I've always enjoyed this one. This one's got probably one of the more interesting shortcuts in it that you're not going to see properly in this video, actually, because it doesn't work like it does in the normal races. But yeah, you'll kind of see what I mean. Obviously, in the normal races you get items, and some of them you can throw forwards as a projectile. And what you need to do is throw it forwards at this little garage thing here. Oh, well, I don't actually go there on this lap, fair enough, I'll show you on the next lap. But yeah, there's no other shortcut that you actually need to open with a projectile in the game, so I think that's quite an interesting stage gimmick for this. As well, I just like all of the different sort of obstacles, like the flame breath coming out of the wall, and sort of how hilly it is, so you can get quite a lot of boosts. It's just quite a well-designed track, this one, I think. I don't know what it is with all of Tiny Tiger... Then again, is this a Tiny Tiger level, or is this a Pura level? Because it's just called Tiger Temple, so this is probably a Pura level. Actually, never really thought... I've always thought of it as being a tiny level. Weird. It's only just occurred to me. Because if this isn't a Pura level, or however you pronounce it, then she, or he, I think it's a she, but she doesn't actually have her own track. which would be a bit weird, so I'm assuming that this is a Pura level. But yeah, what I was going to say is that all of Tiny Tiger's levels are quite hilly, but I guess all of the Tiger's levels are hilly, which is a bit of a weird thing. But yeah, I think you're going to see the shortcut that I was talking about just now. Like, normally this bit would be closed off, and you'd have to throw a projectile into the, like, wall to actually open it up. I just think that that's quite interesting. I do wonder if there's any shortcuts in this game that I actually don't know about. I've played this game a lot as a kid, and just a lot throughout my life generally as well, not just as a kid. So I'd be surprised if there was something that I didn't know about, but you never know. I don't think I've ever watched a speedrun of this game or anything, so if there's any like advanced tricks, I probably don't know about them. This Papu's Pyramid is the hardest track in the game to get the relic on. This is the one that took me way over an hour, probably like almost an hour and a half, just to get this one relic. It was absolutely insane. The reason it's so difficult is because, well, there's a bit later on which you'll see, where there's sort of like a fork in the road, but then the fork in the road is directly followed by another fork in the road, and it's just, I always didn't have a clear plan of which path I was going to take, and I think that just kept tripping me up. Like there was a shortcut, but then the shortcut was followed by that three-way split in the path that you saw. But yeah, just there I actually did really well, and I took the middle path and just got both of the boxes, which is a lot harder to do than I made it look just then. That took me ages to perfect, like exactly when to brake and stuff in the air. But yeah, odd that they would make Papu's Pyramid this, like, difficult. It just seems like when you're first going through it, there's just time boxes in positions where you just can't get to them. It's crazy. You do eventually get used to it, but then actually like working out the best strategy for going fast while getting all the time boxes and doing it without messing up is a lot more difficult than you would think. So here I'm probably going to go to the right. Yeah, so that was the like right split in the path. So I've now done the middle split in the path and the right split in the path, so there's just the left one left. The left split in the path is actually probably the hardest one to actually get to because it's kind of a shortcut. So I'm surprised that I left that to the last lap, to be honest. You would have thought I would have wanted to have got that out of the way first, but I suppose on the first lap I did do the shortcut before that shortcut. God, I crashed into the wall. I'm surprised I still got the platinum even when doing that. This level didn't have much room for error. Surprised I didn't restart on this take actually after that. But it's a good job I didn't. Oh, I didn't even get the speed boost. I bet I was lucky to have made that. So there's one box left. I don't actually remember where it is. I think it's just on the path down here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Cool. I actually got the platinum by a couple of seconds as well, so I guess there is a little bit of room for error, but not much. But the problem that I was having wasn't really making mistakes, it was just getting all the time boxes that was hard in that one, because if you miss a time box in one of the splits in the road, you then can't get the boxes again, because you have to take another split in the road on the next lap. So it's just a constant chain of me making mistakes and having to restart the track. Very irritating. But yeah, then we were followed by this track, which was reasonably easy. I didn't do it on my first attempt, but that was just because of a really stupid error that I made. I actually don't think at any point in the game I actually got just the Sapphire Relic. I think even when I failed to get the Platinum, I got Gold. So it must be quite easy to get the gold relics. In fact, earlier I said that getting the platinum relics gets you the true ending and unlocks Turbo Track, but that's not actually true. Getting any of the relics gets you that stuff. Getting the platinum relics I think gets you 101% on your save file. And it might give you the thing where you learn what the characters did after the events of the game as well. I'm not sure if you get that with just the normal relics. But yeah, you don't really... It would have been better for you to get a bit more of a reward for getting the Platinum Relics, actually. I mean, I know you don't get anything in... Oh yeah, you do get stuff in Crash 3. Do you? I think... Actually, no, you don't, because you can get any kind of relic to unlock the secret levels. So yeah, the Platinum Relics have never really given you all that much. I guess it's just like something to aim for if you're a completionist, really. But a bit of a shame that they don't give you something in this game particularly, with it being a racing game. Would have been nice to have gotten like an extra character or something. But yeah, this is the last track in the first half of the game actually, so after I've finished this, I'm going to be leaving you for the first part of the video. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. I know my commentary hasn't been particularly helpful because I've not really been talking about what I've been doing, but you've been seeing what I've been doing on the screen. So anyway, if you enjoyed watching, give it a like, and I'll see you next time.